Need of a human resource planning and the need for human resource planning is realized in organization for the following reasons, and despite and growing unemployment, there has been shortage of human resources with the required skills and qualification and capabilities to serve the organization by fulfilling the requirement. And uh, human resource planning and ensures smooth supply of a personnel without a interruption, as large numbers of employees and who retire, die, leave organization, or become incapable capacitated because of a physical or a mental elements need to be replaced by the new employees. Third one is human resource planning and is also essential due to workforce and turnover which is unavoidable and even beneficial, and the reason may be voluntary quits, discharge and marriage and promotions and a seasonal fluctuation in the businesses are the examples of factors and leading to workforce turnover in an organization. Fourth one is the change due to technology and globalization may also require a change in the skill of employees and as well as change in the number of employees. It is human resource planning and that enable organizations to cope with such changes and from time to time. Human resource planning is also needed in order to meet the needs of expansion and diverse diversification and programs of an organization to cope with the dynamism of the market. Sixth one is the need for human resource planning is also realized in order to identify areas of a surplus or shortage of a personnel in case of a surplus and personal it can be uh, redeployed in other areas of organization. Conversely, in case of a shortage of a personnel, it can be made good by a downsizing on the workplace, and human resource planning is important to organization because it benefits the organization in a several ways. 1.6 factor affecting human resource planning. Second thing is a human resource planning can be very clearly defined as the process of identifying the number of people required by an organization in terms of a quantity and a quality. All human resource management activities starts with human and resource planning, and therefore we can say the human resource planning is the principal primary activity of human resource management. The various factors affecting HRP are as follows. One thing is employment. The employment situation of any country affects HRP in a different ways. I have in countries where there is a greater unemployment, there may be more pressure on the organization from government to appoint more people, and similarly there are some organizations may force shortage of skilled labor, and they may have to appoint people and from the countries. Technical changes in the society. Technical changes at a very fast pace, and new people having the required knowledge are required for the organization. In some cases, the organization may retain exciting employees and train them the new technology, but in some cases, the organization have to remove an exciting people and appoint new organizational changes. Change take place within the organization from time to time. I have the company diversified in into new product or close down business in some areas, etc. In all such cases, the HRP and process of appointing of or removing people will change according to the situations. Fourth one is demographic changes. Demographic changes refer to thing and referring to age, population, compositions of workforce, etc. From every organization, a number of people and retired every year. A new batch of graduates and with a specialization turns out every year, and this will affect the exciting workforce. If one is a shortage of a skill due to labor and turnover, the accuracy is in human resource and planning may reduce the cases of high labor turnover rate. And but if some error in the is there in the process, it will affect the organization badly. Multicultural workforce. Mm, Multicultural workforce workers workers from different countries and a different cultural and background travel to other countries in search of a job. It is very important for the organization to consider all these and think, and when they are planning about human resources. The process of a strategic planning. Strategic planning can be defined as the process of identifying organization objectives and the action needed or required to achieve those objectives. And this process involves analyzing such areas as finance, marketing, and even human sources, and to determine the capacities of the organization to meet its objectives. Strategic planning process involves devising a picture of how the organizations will look in the 3 or 5 years duration, and how it can reach that state during that time period. According to Penny Hackett, the basic thing of a consideration and include anticipated financial situation, turnover, gross and net profit, return on investment in intended product and markets and market share and desired output and productivity changes in location and opening of new plants or outlets and employees numbers. Thus, human resource is one element of the overall corporate strategy or plan, and the two are maturely interdependent in different situations of the organization. There are different types of decisions to be taken. For example, if the corporate plan and envisages a cut in a outputter, the closure of a particular plant, and then the human resource plan will need to consider redeployment of a staff, redundancies, and so on. If the corporate plan specifies a move into a new product market, the human resource and plan will have to source the required labor and from outside or within the organization and through recruitment of a training. For example, XYZ Social Services provides supports and servicing the family's need for the its has reviewed and updated its strategic plan. As part of the strategic planning process, and the board planning committee learned that over the next year 50% of their social workers are planning and to retire, and the recruitment of social workers has become increasingly competitive. The outcome of a strategic planning and process is the strategy developed by the board planning committee is to make XYZ social services preferred an employer among organizations in the area. The possible HR planning strategies and to meet this organizational strategy are to develop a recruitment and a relation rotations and strategy based on discussions with the social workers. There are different issues to consider are a flexible work arrangement, controlling with a counselor for the social workers on an as a needed basis, provides professional development and opportunities and that give them increased skill and for dealing with the issues their clients face, and to tie the pay scale of the social workers and to the pay scale of a social workers working and for the municipality, to provide placement for social work students, show that them that XYZ social services and will be an excellent employer after graduations and motivate them, and to dictate the unique strategies that will be used to position as an employer of a choice and based on the needs of your employees and a potential candidate. Organization strategies of and human resource. The most relevant, prevalent practices in any organization is so developed business and strategy based on the areas of a organization strategy and a human resource, and the most prevalent practices in any organization is to develop businesses strategies based on the areas of strength, and that the organization has a handle and who created the concept of a core competency and opine, and that it is the strength and that gives the competitive advantage or an edge to an organization. A core competency is a unique capability of any organization and that creates high value. This core competency uh, different is different in the organization from its competition. Human resource as core competence. It is certain and that all the human resource of an organization can different them from their competitors. On this philosophy, many organization enhance its value in the businesses and create an age of focusing on the human resources. And the example of this type of organization which follow and this principle are as a diverse as a Federal Express, Chopper, Top and Infosys and Tata Group, CNBS, DC, and the significance of human resources uh, as a core competency was confirmed in the study of 293 US firms and found that HR management effectiveness and positively affected organizational productivity and financial performances and a stock market value. But at this stage, a very important questions emerged that how to bring out an organization core competency and some ways that human resources and become a core competency are only through attracting the retaining employees and with unique professional and technical capabilities. Investing in a training and development for the employee and a compensating the employees in ways that keep the competitive with their um, counterparts in the organization. For example, mm, the small community oriented and banks who have the people advantage over the bigger and more technology driving and banks which lead and to more businesses. The reason behind this that many customers have opened. You can talk to the same person rather than having to call an automated services and center in another state. Another state is this. This is the this is the power of people, and there are resource planning. There are resource based organization strategies, and which help in formulating appropriate strategies, and there has been growing recognition and that human resources contribute and to sustaining a competitive advantage for organization. J. Barand Barbie and others have focused on four factors that are important to organizational strategic accomplishments, and those factors called the VRIO framework as are related to human resource as follows: value, res- rareness, and immutability, and organizational culture, and a HR strategy. Organization culture is a pattern of shared values and belief, and these values as the beliefs give meaning and to members of an organization and providing them with rules for a behavior. And these values are and beliefs are in heart in the ways organization uh, and their themselves we view themselves as define opportunities and plan strategies and much as a personality shape an individual an organizational and cultural shapes its member responses and to responses and defines what an organization can or is willing to do. The culture of an organization is seen in the norms of expected behaviors, values, philosophies, uh, ri- rituals, and symbols used by its employees. Culture in any organization uh, evolves uh, and over a period of time, and the more the people and share and the same experiences and practices stronger and dominant in the culture, and hence there will be more stability. The managers must consider the culture of the organization and to develop more compatibility between the strategies and the culture, because if there is high capabilities and the strategies hold a better change chance, and during implementations the major examples can be given of key technical professionals and administrative employees leaving firm and because of a corporate and cultural that seem and to develop devalue people and create barriers to the use of individual capabilities. In a contrast, by creating a culture that values people and highly, some organizations have been very successful at attracting, training, and retaining from welfare recipients. Industry life cycle and HR strategy, the culture of an organization also affects the way external forces are viewed, and one culture can view one event the threatening others, and another culture view risk. And the changes requiring an immediate responses, and we can take support of these phenomenon such as liberalization of an Indian market, because different companies has different reaction. Each organization in an industry to go through an evolutionary life cycles. The stage in which an organization finds and itself in an industry affects the human resource and strategies. It should use it. The stage in which an organization finds itself in an industry affects the human resources and strategy. It should use the, for example, and the HR needs of a small 3 years old high technology software firm will be different from those and offer Infosys offer need. The relationship between the life cycle of an organization and HR management activities is a profile in employment. I have I have high risk and internship pervades and this stage. Since there is a limited finance available, everything is done on a need-based others three. And for examples, the recruitment methods and chosen will be cheapest of all because the aim is create the best out the last. Growth, the organization can now think to expand its operation and to meet the growing demands. Once their presence is acknowledged and in the market and customer response and is favorable to accomplish the same efforts. Same efforts are put into marketing, uh, production, quality and quantity and appropriate human resources. And now the attention is broadened to uh, include more factors. The company might face backlog and schedule problems because they did forces and the demand and supply correlations and extensive efforts are put in the counter all forthcoming problems of increasing demands, and thus the organization here will look for more investment in recruitment and competitive pay and package investing in career planning and development and marketing and operation facilities. Planning is of uh, utmost importance here, and at this stage one thinker has very rightly put it, and it is also important to have HR plans and planning processes rather than just reaching and to initiate pressures shake out. The second stage is characterized by rapid growth and various some will survive and some will lose ground and vanish from the competitions due to lack proper strategic planning. And there will be some organization who may decide to merger and with a bigger and a successful ones to expand. There will be some organizations who may decide. There will be some organization who may decide to merge and with the bigger and successful others who exploit and this last chance to earn the explosive growth in internet businesses and consolidation of internet services provides by such a firms as a Rediffusion and Microsoft Indian terms Times and Yahoo illustrate how shakeouts occur. We can see the this in the forthcoming years happening in the current scenario of the telecommunication services provides. It is going to be a one hill of accomplishing and the best services provides and will shake out the rest. Reliance has attracted many valuable and human resources. In this, its force and retain the competent workforce and by devising uh, healthy by a luxurious compensations plans and policies and competition is though but the cost has to be monitored and a balance through proper mix of short and long-term intense incentives. And thus HRD is a focus set of a high potential ones. Third one is a maturity. Stability is the main feature of this stage. The size and the successes enable the organization and to develop even more formalized plans and policies and procedures. The HR activities seem and to expand whether we talk of rewarding and the employees through compensation and career development of HRD, the compensation programs become a major focus of HR efforts and they are expanded to reward executives as well as like the uh, teachers and Godrej that states decline the organization in the decline stages and faces uh, resistance to change and it's very crucial. For example, in India, the textile industry had to reduce their workforce and close plants and use their accumulated profits from the past and a reason it is to diversify into other industrialization in 1980s and 1990s. Therefore, we will observe when we study these firms that some tried hard to revise its operation and through technological and a productivity enhancement and a different cost reduction programs from the very starting. And we need to understand where one firm stands in the evolutionary stage and to formulated the right kind of strategies. 1.2 linking of organizational strategies and HR plans. We may conclude that strategic planning must include planning for human resource and to carry out on the rest of a plan, and we already have to have an ideas how a business strategy can build human resource planning. And for example, suppose a large bank like the standard chartered of a Citibank wants to be the market leader in India and abroad. Since today's world is characterized by a boundary-less organization, it can start by plans and which focus on two main issues to adopt a global focus and to improve services An organization can use basically two kinds of strategies. They are cost leadership and uh, differentiations. Therefore, his strategies evolves certain HR needs and fulfill their these HR needs. Different approaches are available. Uh, Contingency and need to be developed for the best fit among both the of those. For instance, the first strategy may be appropriate in the relatively stable businesses in an environment, and it counters competitions through its high price to and high quality of a product of a, or services. The cost related leadership strategy requires an organization to build its own employees and to fit its specialized needs for that situation. And this approach requires a longer HR planning horizon, and when specific skills are required for a new market or a product, it may be more difficult and to identify uh, internally develop them quickly. But if the company faces a dynamic, turbulent, and a hostile environment and characterized by constant and change, and then the second strategy will be more suitable. If we take example of the software industry, and then one needs to be more proactive and innovative, and thus keep searching and for new products and new markets. We must keep in mind that two are not maturely exclusive, because it is possible for an organization and to pursue one strategy in one product, one services area, and a different one with others. In constant, in contrast, and to the cost leadership strategy, the HR planning is likely to have a shorter time frame and greater use of external sources will be used to staff the organization at that moment. Thus, we can conclude and that the human resources planning and corporate planning become effective when there is a reciprocal and a interdependent relationship between them. As James Walker, noted HRP experts very apply have put it. And today, virtually in a business, issues have people implications. All human resources issues have businesses implications and is very suitable in a present scenario. This chapter summary: human resource planning is a managerial functions and aimed at coordinating the requirement of the organization in terms of availability of different types of employees. It is for forward looking function and to identify skill and competency gaps and subsequently make plans for development, de-development, and to de skill in a competencies. HRP may be regardable as a quantitative and a qualitative measurement of a workforce required in an organization. In this regard, planning is required and expressed as the process by which the management ensures the right number of people and right kind of people at right place at the right time, doing and the right things for achievement of organizational goals and human resource planning. It is a critical component of organizational planning, and that ensure that the right human resources the available at the right time to achieve organizational goals, vision, and a strategy. Human resources plans and affects many elements of including recruitment, selection, training, and development, organizational structure, and a compensation. Strategy planning is very much required for HRP, and it can be defined as the processes of identifying organizational objectives and the action needed or required to achieve those objectives. This process involves in analyzing such areas as finance, marketing, and even human sources to determine the capacities of the organization to meet its objectives. It is certain that all the human resource of a organization confident and them from the competitors. And for this core competency is necessary on this philosophy. Many organizations enhance its value in the businesses and treat an age by focusing on the human resource. In a install nutshell, we can conclude the human resource planning and corporate planning and become effective when there is a reciprocal and interdependent relationship between them. Key terms: cost of leadership. It is a strategy used by a business and to create a law. Cost of operation within their need, and the purpose of using this primarily to gain an advantage of a competitors by reducing operation cost below and that of an others in the same industry. Deforestation and result of efforts and to make a something and stand out as a provider of a unique value and to customers or society in a comparison with its competitors. Redeployment is an act where the employees and whose job are at risk are given the chance to find a new job in the same organization. Redundancy, it is a situation works when the position and to employment of an employee is or will becomes surplus and to the requirement of other businesses. Core competency, the concept of core competency is a identifying and a nurturing core competency and to drive competitive advantage and future growth applies unto a companies across industries in order to survive and excel. Some question is there. See this question number first. Define human resource planning. What are the different activities involved in HRP? Question number second. Explain the importance of a macro level human resource planning in India. Third one, endorsement the nature and scope of a human resource planning. Fourth one is discuss the various factors affecting human resource planning in any organization. Fifth one is explain the processes of a strategic planning and also discussed how it will be linked to human resource planning. Sixth one excludes the role of organizational culture in formulating HR strategy. Seventh one, explain various HR strategies and associated with the different stages of industry life cycle. Today is enough. Stop the lecture. Yes. Ma'am. स्नूज करू का स्नूज करू